Circuit Breaker Books presents A Dog of Many Names, read by Kelly Mcnair, written by Douglas Green. She crouches, still, her black and tan fur so camouflaged in the woods, dried leaves and dirt that you don't see her at first. But once you do, her eyes grab your attention. Rounder than usual, accentuated by her coloring, like sad clown mascara, making even a happy face melancholy. But happiness for her is only a distant memory. She crouches, still, in fright, dwarfed by the trees and bushes. From her size, you'd think she was young, maybe 6 months. But the eyes show her age and wear, more pain-drenched wisdom than her 2 years should know. She crouches, still, her once silky coat now dusty, mottled, and torn in countless places. Her brain steering all its focus on one thought. Don't trust. Don't hope. Don't let it happen again. She crouches, still, barely daring to breathe. Chapter 1. The Empire. And then, one by one, the eyes opened. Everything you hear about Southern California is true. Stars, beaches, awful traffic. But about 60 miles east of Los Angeles lies another world. Called the Inland Empire, to convince farmers to move there long ago. It's a dusty land of factories, warehouses, and homes. A land of struggle. For example, take Fred and Myrna Corbett. Fred's grandparents stopped here on their way from Oklahoma during the Depression. Years later, Myrna's father moved nearby for a military job after serving in Korea, and met her mother one night as she sang for a touring band. Fred and Myrna met in high school, but they were in their 30s before both suddenly realized they'd always liked each other. Next thing they knew, they were married, then pregnant, and then mourning the loss of a son who almost made it to breathing. But this only made the birth a year later of a baby girl, Angela, especially joyous. By this time, the local couch factory had closed, and Fred had started his own furniture repair business, while Myrna kept her job at the chain drugstore counter 3 days a week. And now that Angela had defined them as a family, they bought a dog. Greta was, everyone said, as perfect a German shepherd as ever had been seen. Larger than normal, with defined musculature, noble chin, and a splendid mask, the coloring on her nose and mouth. She was a natural watchdog and companion, and easily the most valuable possession, if you'd use that word, in the Corbett home. But the Corbetts had another role for her, too. Given her looks and her pedigree, they found that breeding her with Jose Hastings' similarly beautiful Siegfried gave them litters of pups which, after splitting the profit, brought in a welcome few $1,000s a year. Myrna joked that while they lived in an area called an empire, the only real imperial power around was Greta and Siegfried's progeny taking over the whole county. Fred refused to keep Greta in a crate, except when she was nursing pups. But he did keep their 8-foot fence in good repair to ensure no one but Siegfried would ever date their beloved debutante, which eventually led to quite a mystery. When Angela was almost 9, Greta was found to be pregnant again, but when she gave birth, it was clear the puppies weren't Siegfried's. All but one bore a clear resemblance to Walter, a Chow, Doberman, and Moore mix owned by Homer Scott down the street. But how could Walter, who was too stocky to jump over a shoebox, have managed to climb into their yard? Fred searched the yard and found no possible way. But as he finished, he noticed muddy footprints on top of Greta's doghouse, which was just tall enough for her to have climbed onto it and pulled herself over the fence. Pulled herself? Despite regular visits with Siegfried, she risked her life to escape to Walter? Fred went into the house, where Myrna was showing the newborns to Angela, and revealed his discovery. "We won't let anyone know about them till they're 8 weeks old," Myrna explained. "Then they'll be so unbearably cute, no one will be..."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?